The following is rated not safe for work. It contains strong language, adult situations, and lots of spoilers. Discretion is advised.
In the criminal justice system, cinematic-based offenses are considered especially heinous. The dedicated attorneys who investigate these villainous films are members of an elite squad known as the Reels of Justice. These are their stories.
Order, please, order. The Reels of Justice is now in session. Judge Big Ben Haslar presiding. Your eyes for the Honorable Judge Haslar. Be seated. Welcome to the Reels of Justice. Woo.
You okay, Judge?
Why? Because Ryan does it and everyone loves him. Today we're hearing the case of The People versus The Sixth Sense, a 1999 horror film about a troubled young boy trying to cope with his supernatural gift with the help of a child psychologist hoping to redeem himself. For those of you unfamiliar with our court proceedings, we are here to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. As always in this courtroom, films are considered excellent until proven awful, and the burden of proof lies upon Maynard Bangs to prove, beyond a shadow of reasonable doubt, that this film is guilty. Mr. Bangs, you may present your opening statement.
Now, see, the twist would have been if Bangs wasn't prosecuting.
Really? You expect me to be prosecuting? All right, interesting. At school, not drawing pictures of violently dead, but rainbows instead. No meetings about rainbows, smiles and puppies. His shrink was a ghost the whole time. Mommy didn't pay attention, no, to the fact Bruce Willis wasn't there. King Haley Joel, the freak show. He sees dead people. Haley Joel spoke to ghosts today. Haley Joel spoke to ghosts today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Question mark. Appearing on behalf of the defense and preferably not singing is Mr. Ryan Verrill. Please
What do
present
you
your
mean, preferably?
You can sing if you
Wow.
want, Ryan. Don't let him stop you.
I do not plan on singing, but my goodness, how to follow that up. That was wild. I am just shocked that I'm able to come here and defend this amazing movie that I think is a cinematic masterpiece, and I cannot wait to see the judge give his final judgment because it's inevitable. No twist found.
The final judgment. Oh man, I sang. Oh well. Mr. Maynard Bangs, please present your first exhibit.
Well, of course there's going to be a twist. I guarantee there'll be a twist. Well, maybe I won't guarantee it, but there should be a twist.
Ooh.
Now, the thing about Sixth Sense, right? Everyone's like, oh, this is the good M. Night movie. I mean, Unbreakable, obviously, we know it's really the best one. But Sixth Sense is always, that's kind of what put him, I mean, that is what put him on his map. It's his first major feature film, right? And so it's kind of always the one everyone gives the pass. It doesn't seem like all the other M. Night movies. But guess what, guys? Yes, it is. It's exactly like every other M. Night movie. It's stupid and doesn't make any sense if you think about it at all. Now, by the end of this, my opponent is going to beg you to not think about that and not think about this and just turn off your brain and enjoy the movie. As if this movie isn't just as far up its own ass as it can be. I mean, it has a near 3-minute opening credit sequence, just titles over black with a score. Get over yourself, M. Night. You're not Hitchcock. And the score is not even as good as Signs. The Signs credit sequence is way better. The score here is kind of dull. So, but the problem is this movie, it thinks it's brilliant. It thinks its twist is genius and has completely blown your mind, and that there's no possible way you could see it coming. And granted, they use a lot of tricks and cheats, I think, to lead you off that trail that I hope to talk about it. But as far as unpredictable, Well, we've seen twists like this before. Carnival of Souls, Riff Track fans will know from back in the 60s, where the girl dies in a car crash. Well, she's in a car crash in the beginning of the movie. I could spoil all the fucking movies I want, Your Honor. Spoil every movie. Bruce Willis is dead at this end of Sixth Sense. Oh, shit, wait. Reductor and Shyamalan in Sixth Sense already. Well, the point is...
It's going to be a tough trial.
Carnival of Souls... Car crash at the beginning. The girl is then pursued by ghouls throughout the entire movie, and then finds out that she actually died in the beginning in the crash, and she had been like a ghost or a disembodied specter or whatever. There's a great Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that I watched completely out of a coincidence called Tale of the Dream Girl. And it's another thing where there was a car crash. This boy then thinks he's being followed by a ghost, but it turns out they're both ghosts, and she wants him to go to the other side. There's a Twilight Zone episode called The Hitchhiker, where a girl has a car crash at the beginning and then sees a hitchhiker for the rest. And that's based on a radio play from the 40s. So, and that was made with Orson Welles. So the point is, the story's been kind of told before. The trailer even gives you the "I see dead people" line. And so when you add that with the murder at the beginning, I think people will see this twist coming. I know that... Schlenzo's son, he's about 10 years old. He saw it for the first time, I guess, recently. He was able to guess the twist. Now, he might have heard of that twist through the Zeitgeist, but I know Derek
Zeitgeist.
D-Rock, Schlenzo, apparently got it in theaters. He knew the twist in theaters, and 5 minutes into the movie, leaned over to Schlenzo here and spoiled the entire movie for him. Which is brilliant.
That's true, Your Honor.
And it was right. So I think you can see this twist coming. I think this movie really thinks you can't and is just like stunned at the end in its own genius.
Mr. Verrill, is this brilliant or as dumb as Trap?
Well, funny enough, this was the perfect way to set my trap, because if you notice, my first exhibit was not really an argument, and that's only because I knew that the first argument laid by our opponents here would be laying out that this movie is stupid because it's a bad
He's
twist.
just as predictable as the movie. Wow.
Literally, exactly the same argument that everybody that's ever complained about this film can only bring, is that the twist is not some brilliant thing. Well, give me a break. The celebrated twist ending is not a gimmick, but funny enough, a legally, cinematically recognizable structure device for this film that not only is embedded throughout the entire narrative architecture, however, the moment that you see it at the very end for the very first time, even if you've been told about it, we see that this entire film does not depend entirely on the twist, but in other words, gives you an entire cinematic retroactive appreciation for the film, so that the next time you watch it, you can enjoy it even more by looking for everything that led to our exact decisions at the end of the film. The opening sequence onward, including our 3-minute credit sequence, is a meticulously constructed chain of observable facts that support the eventual twist that is revealed to the audience all at once. And the moment we all watched this together when you were 9 years old in 1999, whether you were 14 years old in 1999, you were all blown away the same way. Just because it's been spoiled to you does not make it bad or, something that Family Guy can make an argument out of. You don't need to make an argument out of, because no matter what, you take this away, the movie is still entertaining as hell, and it is worth the watch.
Mr. Maynard, I believe you said there were some cheats and tricks to make
yes,
this twist
he's
happen.
fallen into my trap.
Oh,
The
no!
is that you think this movie gets better upon rewatches. The more you think about this movie, the more it falls apart. From the moment Bruce Willis is shot to when he actually meets Haley Joel is a matter of months. The movie says the next fall. So Bruce Willis has been dead for... what would you like to say, Ryan? 4 months? 6 months?
A matter of months, probably.
9 months?
That's what I would say.
I believe the general consensus is that the entire course of the film traverses a year from when he's shot to when he satisfies his clause and gets to go to the afterlife for being a good boy. That's like a full year. But it's probably like he's probably only with Haley Joel for the last 3 months, 2 months, maybe, roughly. That's a guess. It doesn't tell us a lot. How could Bruce Willis not have a conversation with a single person for 9 months and not realize it unless he has huge lapses of memory and blackouts that the film doesn't really attribute or explain? There's no possible way he's not eating or going anywhere. We see him go lots of places. I hope to be able to talk about a lot of them. But there's no way that not only could he go and not talk to anyone, that it would not arouse suspicion that no one's talking to him. He's not bumping into anyone. He walks everywhere. You walk down the street and don't bump into anyone or trip over something, and none of this kind of catches your attention.
Did he fall into your like double triple trap there, Mr. Verrill?
It is a double triple trap, because when you speak in absolutes, all I have to do to prove this wrong is give you one way that it is possible. Never once in this entire film did they mention the moment that he died. Just that since the shooting, it has been a matter of months. Perhaps he was on life support and just passed away just a week before we see him go about the rest of his, quote, life, because we don't need to explain any of that away. All we know is that stuff happens. It's been a matter of months. We just gave a plausible, possible chance for it to last that long.
I don't know. I think I'm okay with that idea, but I think it would...
There we go.
Right, but there are still some other problems, because there's certainly a concrete period of time where he's not hospitalized and not bedridden and seemingly living in his house with his wife in the basement, where he can overhear conversations. He never overhears any conversation about how her husband died. He's always walking in at the perfect time where she's asleep and she's watching a tape. So does Bruce Willis experience extended real time, or is he vaping in and out here? Is he phasing in and out and not aware of it?
I mean, there's lots of ways people fight depression. There's lots of ways people fight stomach wounds. There's lots of ways that people fight a failing marriage. And who am I to question the exact way that his body is handling any of those very difficult situations? However, I don't need to question the integrity of the film itself based on the merits of that single argument.
You're right, but I do.
How embarrassing
think about the
for you.
instances in the where he goes into the public. One of the ones he attends 2 children's plays, right, and never speaks to a single other adult in that audience. I don't know if you have to buy tickets for that kind of thing, but I'd imagine you'd have to talk to somebody, a chaperone, about coming in. I think you naturally would. We see him.
Point of order. I've got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. I try my best to never speak to any other parents.
Right? Do you succeed?
Yes, generally.
No. Somebody's smiling at you or asking you to take a picture for them. This is a very public space that he would be prone to run into a lot of people. But now let's take another one that the movie likes to steal the base with, is the opening scene where it's not really opening, but it's early, where he's sitting there with the mother. So the movie is just like, well, of course they were talking before we got here. Of course they had a conversation at some point. So you, the audience, are like, oh yeah, nothing's weird. But why would that not be weird to Bruce Willis? Bruce, you how did you get here? You're suddenly just sitting in this room with this mother. They've never had a conversation to debrief her at all about what her son's name is, what his deal is, that he's having trouble. Where does Bruce Willis even pick up this case? He had no conversation with the mother. He has no background. I imagine he doesn't usually give services as a psychiatrist on the street. I imagine he doesn't just stalk his patients as they come out of class or out of their apartments to then attend his sessions. I imagine most of them used to go to his office or something like that. And now he's not doing that at all. He's suddenly an on-call psychiatrist who delivers door to door.
The psychology Uber of 1999 is a very compelling argument for some, I guess. But I got to be honest, for me, I don't judge every movie I watch by the plausibility of every single plot line.
Are you asking me not to think about it?
No, I am not. What
yes,
I'm trying to say is
let him finish. Let him finish.
The inherent argument of a film itself about death leaves a lot of questions. None of us can verify upon any reliable evidentiary state that we have seen and know for beyond a reasonable doubt fact what happens after somebody's death means that you already have to understand that there are going to be assumptions taken with the plot devices. And if that is okay with you to enter to a film discussing death, then you have to understand that nobody's going to have all of the right answers and it's one person's interpretation.
And when you do,
I
you get
suppose-
R.I.P.D. Which
My
is
problems are not
geez.
even they're not even about the things that would happen after we die. Since Bruce is basically carrying on living, my problem is how he doesn't act naturalistically like living people do. I think the most egregious here is when he and Haley Joel ride the bus together and then go to a funeral at strangers' house, at their home. It's a wake, actually. And they don't make any introduction to themselves. And remember, Bruce Willis isn't there. So a small child is walking into this person's house completely unaccompanied, and not a single adult in this, where we see 30 of them go, "Oh, hello, little boy who just walked in completely alone and definitely not with Bruce Willis. What the fuck are you doing here?" In which Bruce Willis go, "That's a strange thing to say considering I'm alive and right next to him. Why does everyone keep doing this? Why does everyone keep doing this?" And a wake, of course, had to happen in that house because that's where the videotape had to be. So that's why they had to put it in someone's house, because the only way for that to work. But it also makes it even, like, that's where you would really notice a stranger. Maybe if they're in a funeral home. I used to be a kid who just hung around a funeral home. So those do
I have
exist.
no trouble believing
Your
that.
Honor, I can testify that's true too.
That's also
actually.
true. I was
Another piece of the
invited.
puzzle falls into place.
I was invited.
That is true too. I will testify, actually.
By Bruce Willis or who?
Can't tell you. But the point is, this would have seemed incredibly strange. Someone would have come up and talked to this boy, in which case Bruce would have observed that. Or even when the boy goes upstairs, Bruce Willis is going to meander around. He's not going to go, "Hey, look, I'm here with Cole. Yes, I'm not technically his legal guardian. I'm just his shrink who knows what I'm doing out here. I haven't actually talked to his mother and gotten any verbal confirmation that this is good. Not that I can remember anyway. So, but I wanted to introduce, I'm Dr. Malcolm Crowe, and here I am."
Well, once again, if I'm only being asked to explain plot holes for you, one thing I will say as yet again another supporting piece of evidence of somebody that does currently parent a child that is 11 years old and another child that is 9 years old. I have hosted and attended many of these events, and you're right, every single one somebody has talked to me. But at the same time, if I were to see some random ass child that I've never seen before run through that living room or through a kitchen or trip over my giant foot, there is no way that I could say they are not meant to be here. And that even includes somebody walking into the door. If a 10-year-old just opened the door and walked in, as long as I don't live there, I'm assuming that they know what they're doing. I'm not there to accompany them. I don't need to explain this plot hole. I've seen kids get away with all kinds of shit because nobody
We need to send them into Area 51. That's how we get
exactly.
in.
But it's less so a plot hole and more that the filmmakers know we assume Bruce Willis is talking to people as he's walking around the room. We, the audience, go, "Of course he is. What kind of freak show would walk into a funeral and not introduce himself? Of course he would do that." But to Bruce Willis, who thinks he's alive, why doesn't he go, "Why am I not talking to anyone? And why am no one talking to me?" And I think there are a lot of cheats in this movie that happen like that. For instance, the fact that ghosts cause cold seems to come and go in this movie, right? Bruce Willis might make his wife shiver at certain moments, like when he comes home late, but when he comes up to her in a restaurant where she's bare-armed in a dress, she doesn't shiver, she doesn't cover up. It's suddenly not cold when there's a ghost around. Haley Joel's breath will steam up when he says, "I see dead people," because Bruce Willis is right next to him. Clue, 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 he's a ghost. But it hasn't been freezing up the entire rest of the time he's been hanging out with Haley Joel. They've been inside. I haven't been able to see his breath. It seems to only come and go when it's going to be cold.
Seems like your argument just comes and go when it's necessary here. We don't need to fulfill plot points to make sure that it makes sense. I think the reality here is what makes this such a compelling masterpiece of a movie is that, especially the very first time you see this, if you go into this without having the twist spoiled, which is the big conceit everybody complains about, is that you don't have to notice all this because everything else about the film is compelling enough.
Well, you do say it works on a rewatch, though.
It does, because now you're looking for a different thing. The context behind that is saying, what clues did I miss? And now you go into this with a different mission. And for many films, that is a very fulfilling way to continue to watch an old favorite. And I don't know about everybody else, but if you really like this film, there are things that I notice now on rewatch, which I just showed my kids just this last Halloween season. There were a lot more things that I appreciated about this that I never noticed from the last stage of my life. And one of the reasons is because I'm now a parent. And the way that this film lives in the context of being a parent watching this film, of people interacting with kids, of seeing a kid that can act better than way more people in Hollywood than I expected. Yeah,
better than every adult in this
lot.
movie.
Tony Collette begs to differ.
Oh,
Ooh.
I would beg to differ with Tony Collette. Ease
just
down
for that,
on the
though.
jersey just a little bit. But I do think that this movie has these kind of cheats. I don't think these are plot holes. These are things you say when you rewatch. Now you can watch out for them. Okay, well, I'm rewatching out for them and I'm finding the seams. And I find them a little unsatisfying. Of course, we're not going to believe that these kind of things are going to happen when we're being led off the trail with sort of these, like I said, I call them cheats. You might want to say they're stealing a base. And now one of the things I do want to talk about too is I used to think this movie was really scary, but on none of my rewatches, I watched this about 3 times for this case. None of the times I found it to be very scary. Now, when I was 12, everything was really scary, especially like Are You Afraid of the Dark? That kind of stuff. But now that I'm an adult and I rewatch this, not watching it through my fingers and kind of hiding under a blanket, nothing really about it's all that terrifying. It's just sort of regular looking people in not even all that convincing practical makeup. Like, some of those people who are hung just have random scratches on their face. Why do they have those?
Where is your heart gone?
as a 12-year-old, okay, I do think it satisfies and scaring, but what did the adults in 1999 think? How could they have found this scary?
I don't understand the argument. Do they have to make this a good movie? I'm not afraid of things like 101 Dalmatians, but I can still marvel at the animation. I think that the craft here on every level is still good enough to make this a great movie. We
call it a thriller. There's moments where they're trying to create tension through fear. Absolutely. So I would say the movie is trying to be scary.
Well, that also happens in Anastasia. That doesn't make it a horror movie. I'm still not afraid of Anastasia either. And sure, tension is something that is built here. Tension is something that rides like a roller coaster, dissipates in certain scenes, comes back in others. I don't see this movie as needing to be scary to make it successful. If anything, really, the only thing that they were trying to do is make a meditative film about death. And at the end of the day, mission accomplished.
Does it? What does it say about death?
It says a lot of things about his journey with death. It may not speak necessarily to you, but that doesn't make it not a great movie.
I mean, why does he even need to take a journey throughout death? I mean, he seemed like he was a very competent, well-appreciated doctor who succeeded for a lot of people. Apparently, he let down one patient who wasn't actually even mentally ill. He actually saw ghosts. So Bruce Willis wasn't ever equipped to help this child at any point, and therefore shouldn't be responsible to. So why does he now have to cosmically atone for something he never did wrong by helping some second child?
There's a lot of assumptions because I never said it was Bruce Willis. What if the journey was M. Night Shyamalan's?
Whoa, there's the twist. You got me with the twist.
Your Honor, too many twists.
Too many twists. Mr. Bangs, did you have any other exhibits to wrap up?
I do.
Keep them going.
Absolutely. I would say, if we're talking about these meditative points of the movie, I think one of it is that Bruce Willis ultimately gives this advice to Haley Joel that seems helpful, right? That he should listen to these ghosts. Do you think this was an important part of the movie, Ryan? Or you're going to be like, no, I did this part, not even important?
No, I'm not going to say that it wasn't important at all. I think it's retroactively, when looking at the entirety of the film, I think it's a very important part of it. That is correct.
All right. Now, I think his advice sucks. First off, like Haley Joel said, some of these ghosts are just plain old mean, right? They hurt him. They wound him. What is Haley Joel supposed to do about the battered housewife in his kitchen screaming, "You're a terrible husband, Lenny," every single night? Is he supposed to go find Lenny and kick his ass? Is he supposed to sit her down and go, "Ma'am, I think you and your husband need to communicate better and enter into marriage counseling, or else maybe consider divorce altogether"? What can he possibly do? How can he talk to her to resolve this issue? Is he supposed to lecture Gunshot Boy? That's how his character is credited, Gunshot Boy.
Really? That's funny.
As the proper safety and storage of firearms, or start a campaign where he visits schools to talk to other kids about the dangers. What the fuck can
other
he
ghosts
do?
About the danger.
Other kids who are alive
Come over here.
before they kill themselves, man. Point is, he's 9. This is shitty advice. I highly doubt that a 9-year-old is going to be able to help many of these spirits, other than the very niche case we see where an unsolved murder was solved because the victim was able to videotape their killing with the culprit's face clearly captured, and actually showing them in the middle of committing the crime, pouring the pine salt in the soup right in front of the camera. Besides that very niche thing where murder victims have already solved their own murder and can give a VHS of evidence over to Haley Joel, what the hell is he supposed to do in all these situations?
All I know is the whole time you bring that up, I can only imagine this as a kind of silent and underrepresented, maybe prequel to Unbreakable, which is really funny when you think about it, that this child might be being groomed to help solve all the world's problems. Obviously, that's not the case, but that's hilarious.
And when the hell did this little girl record the tape? Did she review it before she died? You'd think if she did, she'd stop eating the fucking soup, you know? Or tell your daddy. Like, you have to have some alone time with your father as her condition worsened in these terminally ill conditions. Tell your father, hey, I have a tape of mom poisoning me and you can watch it anytime you like to get her to stop.
It's easy to Monday morning quarterback.
Jesus, Ben.
It was only when she realized that was a lot more lemon flavor than I expected.
So do you think she only watched the tape after she died, or didn't know before she died?
I mean, yeah, probably. She didn't technically have a reason to watch it until after she died.
All right, so she can load a VHS into a VCR, press play, and watch the tape?
I don't know. This
is what you're saying. Is she watched the tape after she died?
What is your point, counselor?
When does she watch this tape to know when she was murdered, to be able to finger point her exact murderer so she could tell Haley Joel?
That's
it's
still
such
not
a ridiculous.
An
It's a ridiculous true crime scenario that's never going to happen again for Haley Joel to ever help anyone else.
You'd be surprised.
It's a real cheat of a mystery that he's able to solve. This person who didn't even really need help. If she can watch a VHS to watch the tape, she could just show it to her dad herself.
Any further argumentation, Mr. Bangs?
Oh, not interested in nothing. You're scared, Your Honor. Do I have anything else? I think that's it. Let's let the defense say what they're going to say.
Very well. The prosecution is rested. Mr. Verrill, you may present your first exhibit in defense of the film.
My first exhibit in defense of the film primarily relies on what I mentioned earlier, and that is about the twist. Everything that argues about this film is that the twist is so bad or so easily forecasted that it makes it a bad movie, and that in itself is a false argument. The main situation that we see here is that every film with a twist following The Sixth Sense is compared to The Sixth Sense. Tropes are tropes for a reason, and this became a trope because of the film that we all felt fooled by. And if we all felt fooled by it, then clearly it was successful. This was not something that critics could see as an attempt to categorically ruse the audience in a way where they felt dumb, but something that you could be using as proper writing to make somebody shocked. And look at that. Another word for shock is being thrilled. As a thriller, there are lots of opportunities in this film that I would argue that when you're watching this, you could see something coming, be completely swerved, and it does not need to make logical sense when you are completely analyzing every aspect of this film. However, the twist itself cannot be argued is a failure in this film because analytically it works. And it works because we compare every other definition of that to this film.
I believe we even created a legal term for it, Mr. Bangs. What have you to say?
Ridiculous ad Shyamalan. What I heard from that was that it didn't all make logical sense. And so it sounds just like it's real close to don't quite think about it. And I do think that's how you have to go through rewatches. I think this might be a fine little popcorn movie, but it's not as brilliant as it still thinks it is.
Does that mean all popcorn movies are bad? I mean, even if that is my conceit that it's not a smart movie. I would say
a popcorn movie that thinks it's an intellectual art film, I would say that's a point in the bad category. You've misidentified yourself. It's arrogance, basically. Pretension.
I mean,
M. Night Shyamalan arrogant?
Right.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly.
No, I've never heard of that.
And that's my point. This is just as pretentious as any other M. Night Shyamalan movie.
And I would argue against that. I mean, the writing itself is head and shoulders above any Lady in the Water under the sun.
There is some pretty painful dialogue. There's a lot less of it. There is some good dialogue in here too, but like, man, that opening scene when Bruce and his wife are sitting there and they say my husband does it. No one talks like that, M. Night. Like, come on, have somebody do a second check on this. A wife doesn't talk to her husband like this alone in an apartment.
Well, we lonely nerds still need to write something. Come on. Mr. Verrill, any further exhibits?
On Ben Haslar. Okay.
The same level. Yeah.
My further exhibit in defense of the film primarily lies in something that I heard an argument against earlier, but that truly is in the performances of this film. Not every single performance of this movie, obviously, but the vast majority in this movie are genuinely incredible stage presences. Bruce Willis is somebody that pulls off a very quiet, I mean, in this type of movie, do we call him a loner since he doesn't talk to anybody else but a child? We see Haley Joel Osment giving a child performance to remember, because this is better than almost any other child performance ever. Toni Collette, great in this, in every single scene that she's in. We even see a frickin' Wahlberg. Wahlberg gives a very unhinged performance in a very short.
Donnie
There's no
Wahlberg
objection
is
possible.
painful in that. Like, what is this high-pitched, weird voice that he's doing? So far, M. Night is 0 for 2 for getting good Wahlberg performances.
Wahlbergs are subjective. Wahlbergs are subjective, so we'll let the jury decide on that. Mr. Verrill,
He's mentally ill. That is a perfect depiction of that. This is not a Wahlberger. Oh, Lord. This is not a Wahlburger where the taste is subjective. His performance is genuinely great as an unhinged, very mentally ill person, and every single scene is captivating from individuals that you know nothing about a backstory, and somehow you still care because of how they interact with primarily Haley Joel Osment through many of those.
If I can add, his
creepy dialogue.
His scene actually sounds exactly like how Mick Foley cut promos in the 90s. Do you know why you're scared alone? I do.
That accent, for some reason, I placed that with something else right at the end there, and I can't figure out what it was, but that was very good.
I will give Haley Joel his flowers, and to me, if the jury's going to end up letting this go, Haley Joel's the guy, and I don't know if this is because he doesn't listen to M. Night. I think that's part of what it was. He just ignored him. Mel Gibson did the same thing in Signs. It worked out for him. Bruce Willis, I think, just kind of can't understand the direction, so he just kind of does the same quiet thing in this and Unbreakable, and that's why they kind of just they avoid all the bad other performances M. Night squeezes at everyone else. But I mean, a lot of other people could have done Bruce's part here. I mean, yeah, he's it's not like he trips over himself, but it is a very quiet, low-key part. You wouldn't tell someone, see The Sixth Sense for Bruce Willis's performance, see it for Toni Collette. You wouldn't. It's for Haley Joel, and I'll give Haley Joel all the credit. He's honestly acting circles around the adults he's in scenes with.
I agree. I do think he is acting circles around literally everybody in this film, and I don't think that's even something to defend necessarily. But with Bruce Willis specifically in 1999, I would argue that it is him reining a lot of things in. Bruce Willis has gone over the top in far too many roles, and to deliver something serious like this and actually meditative is him showing range. And oddly, it's hard to look back on that now because of what he's done since then a little bit, because he just got older and had to rein things in. In 1999, this was him trying.
Good for him.
We had a lot of Bruce Willis in the court this season.
Yeah.
It's not
Mr. Verrill, any further exhibits?
Rich tapestry.
Sure. We've talked a little bit about the writing tonight, and obviously things that I'm hearing as an attack on the film, that you are seeing logic bypassing and cheats. And for a lot of that, again, I would argue that as a defense of the film itself is actually a check mark in the positive category, because they pull it off specifically when you are completely fooled that first time. And I know that it is difficult to discuss the merits of a film when you've seen it 19 times, like most of us have. But in 1999, 18 and a half. I know that one night you fell asleep. When you were watching this specifically, I've got 2 kids. I showed it to them for the first time this last year. all of the things that they asked about this film afterwards showed that it still worked on them. And it doesn't matter if you're going to argue, and I'm just going to cover it now in advance, that, ooh, it got an 11 and a 9-year-old to believe it. That's good enough for those. No, it's not necessarily that. It's people that are experiencing this for the first time are still able to fall into its trance and understand that they are experiencing a different type of film. And the writing very much works in that sort of a vacuum.
Any rebuttal, Mr. Banks?
I think I did.
Did he get 11 and 9-year-old to make it to like it?
Yeah, I guess.
His own 11 and 9-year-old to watch it.
Right, but I'd have to see what else they liked. You know, who knows? Who knows
fair
what
point.
this
Fair
11?
point.
Maybe
Paw Patrol might be big in that house.
Yeah, maybe they like The Room. I don't know.
This is not a room house, I promise.
This is a house without the room. Oh no!
Another twist.
Mr. Verrill, any further argumentation?
No, I believe at this time I've spoken clearly about it.
Great. Both sides have rested. The attorneys will now present their closing arguments. Mr. Maynard Bangs, hit us with that twist.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. We had a lot of fun here today. Yada yada yada. Now, here's Maynard Bangs' top 6 in the Big 2-6, baby.
He's a twist because I thought he'd do 5.
We always have to do this.
Of course, it's 6 senses that we didn't get to see in The Sixth Sense in no particular order.
Okay.
Number
Wait,
1.
can I guess what one of them is?
Space camp.
I was gonna say electromagnetism, like platypuses. Like that's in there.
Close.
Order in my court.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do the bit.
You can't predict me. I'm not like M. Night. Number 1 should be obvious, though. It's common sense. You're telling me this man held no conversations with anyone for over a year and never aroused his suspicion? He never saw his wife in mourning or saw any flowers around the house or overheard her talking about his death. You know, he only ever hears things that imply infidelity and nothing else. Come on. Number 2, fashion sense. Bruce Willis doesn't realize he's been wearing the same outfit for almost a year? Come on. And big old adult glasses with no lenses in them that are too big for your little kid face? That look was last season. No wonder you got bullied. 3, sense of wonder. Except for how often it made me wonder, how the fucking Bruce Willis not know he's a ghost? 4, Spidey sense. You know, if Bruce had Spidey sense, he would have got old Donnie Wahlberg webbed up in his bathroom before he was even down to his skivvies and saved us a whole lot of trouble.
Is that a double entendre?
Oh, yes.
Might be triple.
5,
What a twist.
a little horse sense. Okay, this one's kind of like common sense again, but I had to get up to 6, you know. And it's important to drive that point home. And number 6, the good sense God gave a goose. Okay, again, that's also like common sense. I'm going to have to talk to my wife in the writer's room here. They could have at least gone with the good sense God gave a platypus, which stays with my brand. Idiots. Anyway, movie's dumb. He's got to know he's a ghost. The movie cheats to lead you off the trail. This is as dumb as anything else M. Night has churned out. This was just before we knew the formula. Case dismissed.
Well, just like M. Night, you started out strong. I'll give you that. Mr. Verrill, you may present your closing argument.
Oh boy! First of all, when your competitor is discussing 6 senses and 5 of them are essentially the same thing, you know that you're already winning the game. As we are looking back on the discussion tonight, one of the things that I've not given enough time to is the fact that this is such a relative and relevant theme to base a film on. Pretty much everybody that watches this movie has thought about death. None of us know answers. We all only have questions. And when you're done watching this movie, yes, you have a lot of questions, but thematically, that is square on point with exactly what we were looking for, a meditative experience with the idea of death. And sure, some great performances. Sure, some that clearly my argumenter on the other side of the podium here is not looking at as favorably as myself. But we have a really great ending to this movie that a lot of people look at as its only strength. But the reality is it reveals the strengths of the rest of the film the moment that you have that twist revealed. The movie is written very well, and I cannot believe that the person that wrote this movie and directed this movie led to things happening in terrible ways.
I see what you did there. Thank you all. Members of the jury, Mr. Big Ben Haslar, Mr. Dylan J. Schlender, and Mr. I.C. Oh, come on. That's too easy, Dylan. Ryan Luis Rodriguez, you have all heard the facts concerning this case. It is now up to you to determine if this film is guilty of being a bad movie. The bailiff will escort you to the deliberation room to render your verdict. Right this way? You know, why is it when Haley Joel says, I see dead people, he gets a claim? But when I do it, I'm told my frozen treat is a little morbid?
Are we getting a mumbly? Dead mumbly?
Yes, we're getting a dead mumbly.
Oh, I guess that makes me the foreman man. All right, everyone. Very, very fun case. I mean, The Sixth Sense looms large in the cultural imagination, to say the least. So there was a lot to talk about here.
Get out of the jury room.
I don't want to say zeitgeist. We say it too much. When is zeitgeist going to be out of the zeitgeist? So I want to do a little throat clearing just because my children were used as exhibits. So I just my son did indeed figure it out right away. But in defense, when he asked me what the movie was about, I did tell him it's about a boy that sees dead people. I didn't realize. No, but here's the thing: I didn't realize that they sat on that for so long into the movie. Because even when I saw the movie for the first, like we all saw it with the previews, like it was never in my head that the reveal of him seeing dead people was supposed to be a turning point in the movie until I watched it this time. I was like, oh, they're trying to make that a thing. I mean, because that didn't work. So
yeah, no, it is about the halfway point. Yeah. So.
And then, so he figured it out. He said, he's like, I bet he's dead. But looking at Bruce Willis. And now, to be fair, my son did also figure it out at the beginning of the thing. He speculated that the dog was the monster right away, and he was right. So anyway, he's pretty good at figuring this out. To say nothing of figuring out all the deaths in tarot. So he's got a knack for it. My daughter really liked it, though. So that's sorry there, Maynard. But anyway, so that's what my kids had to say about that since they were
people under 13 love this movie. We've established that.
Yeah, no.
What about the rest of us?
They seem to, and neither one were scared though. And my son actually does scare kind of easy for horror movies, but he wasn't scared by anything really in this one. Yeah, that's why like calling it like a horror just seems too severe. It doesn't read.
That's a PG-13 horror, which sort of has a different vibe.
Yeah, I think I agree with Maynard. Maybe like they were trying to make the scary elements into more of a thrilling component than like just abject terror. Yeah, but anyway, it's a very strong case for Maynard. Because what Ryan was saying. He's like, oh, one of the joys is the rewatch. And it's like, well, okay, let's rewatch it with a critical eye like Maynard did. And he noticed a few things I noticed, and there was way more things I didn't, like the point with the breath being coming and going. Mm-hmm. Very good point. I loved when he brought up the fact that talking to the ghost is a terrible idea. Because I was just talking to a member of the court about this, and I said, if I had to prosecute it, I would bring up how it's a terrible idea to have him talk to the ghost because he won't be able to make a difference for any of them, and it doesn't make sense that Misha Barton's the only one that understands he can help them. None of the other ghosts seem to understand that he would be able to help them. So, and
well, he's got to, learn how to do it. And it's not like there's like divine purpose involved or whatever. It's a skill he has that he can use to benefit people.
Well, even the defense would say we don't know that, in defense of the defense, he was very good at not staking a concrete position because Maynard was ready to cause earthquakes under any one of them. So now I will say, though, the only explanation for these Bruce Willis cheats, and they are cheats, we just need to acknowledge that, is yes, we don't know what being a ghost is like. He had to have phased into the room with the mother. Why he doesn't realize they're not talking? Because it's not like he knocked down the door and she let him in.
He said they don't know that they're dead.
No, they don't know they're dead, but he has to. This is why the movie is taking cheats.
Dylan, do you remember like every drive that you took like to get somewhere? Like there's just like stuff we kind of blank out.
I would remember if I'm sitting across from a woman in her own house and she hasn't.
You're not dead though. I mean, like, but it is like kind of like that.
And I said that's the thinnest read. That's the thinnest read the movie has to stand on, is that they don't know they're dead, and he says they see what they want to see. And things like that. But you think something Bruce Willis would want is to actually talk to the mother, saying, I've been enjoying my sessions with your son. Even, just that kind of pablum that kills time. No one just sits there and not talk. I mean, I
That's
couldn't
all.
do it.
That's exactly the kind of stuff I would forget, just like he does.
Figure out I'm a ghost in like 3 minutes because no one
How
laughed
does he
at my
change
jokes.
clothes?
Oh man. Okay, so anyway, all I'm going to say is I think we did have a very, very strong prosecution, and I do appreciate the fact that he was strong enough to admit that if the movie's going to walk, it's because of Haley Joel. And I agree. Haley Joel's performance is really good, and I couldn't believe how good it was last time I watched it. But I mean, if we're going to go not guilty on this, we're looking at more of a case of jury nullification, because I do think Maynard brought the goods today. But I'll let you guys say what you thought about the cases.
Ryan?
I think this is the most somber movie to ever gross $1 bajillion at the box office.
Ooh.
I saw this movie day one, completely unprepared for what was going to happen. I didn't even understand the twist at the end of the movie. My dad actually had to lean over and say, "He's dead." I was not that bright. I mean, I was 13 years old. I'm still not that bright now, but I'm definitely wasn't that bright then. But
brighter.
The one thing that really stuck out to me this time is that how does he change his clothes from scene to scene? It's like, well, I mean, if you're dead, then wouldn't you be wearing the same thing? Otherwise, you'd kind of be clued into the fact that you're dead.
No.
But yeah, Haley Joel Osment, one of the great all-time child performances out there, just an astonishing work.
Just like in Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah.
But the thing is that Toni Collette has gotten a lot of shit on this episode, and I want to say that that's completely unfair. I think she gives the second best performance in the entire film. Every single time I watch this movie, I go, man, Toni Collette is so fucking good. Without her, I don't know if the whole thing would actually congeal into something. But I love this movie. I love the fact that it does not give you easy answers. I love the fact that we could actually have this debate for 40 minutes without actually coming down concretely upon one point of view. So I love this movie. This is a gentleman's 9 for me. It sticks up every single time I think about it. I think about it in a positive way. I like Unbreakable more, but The Sixth Sense is great with me.
And let's hear from you, Big Ben. You
were
an judge, so.
No, that's a whole different guy. It just sounds very similar.
That's true.
No, I'm with you, Ryan. No, I feel like this is about a 9 or 10 if I'm just judging it on its own without taking the case into account. I have seen it probably close to 15 or so times. And as such, a lot of the nitpicks about like the twist or whatever I have seen coming in. You can't help but if you've seen it that many times. So I am aware of them, and they do kind of bug me. I do think they're cheats. I think they bug you more and more times you watch it. But it works pretty well on a rewatch, I think, for like the second, third, fourth times. But you start getting past that, then it's like, okay, yeah, they're really, he really is doing a lot to get away with. But I think it's more than Haley Joel letting this walk, which I think he more than enough does that. I think like the themes it says kind of about depression and therapy and how it like uses being dead, like emotionally dead within this marriage. Like there's a lot of stuff there, and that becomes the more interesting thing I focus on when I rewatch it after I've moved on past that twist.
I'm going to push back on that, Ben, because Maynard brought up a great point. Donnie Wahlberg wasn't crazy. He was literally hearing ghosts. Bruce Willis actually was not equipped to help them. And also, if Bruce Willis was able to hear the ghost on the tape recorder, wouldn't that have opened up the world of ghosts? And wouldn't he have started seeing the ghosts? Or like another cheat, And anyway, yeah. So I don't think this movie is particularly powerful or meditative of that. I do think it's emotionally resonant, and actually that's one thing I really appreciated Ryan saying. This is the first time I've watched it as a father, and the movie did hit me emotionally way more than it ever has before in my life. I've probably seen it about 4 or 5 times, but watching it with my kids, I was like, yeah, the movie hits different now. That's for sure. But I do want to push back. I don't think it's saying anything profound at all. I think it's a Malden tune tugging at your heartstrings, like watching Scotty grow.
I have no idea what you just said.
The audience knows what I said. That's what counts.
Malden tomb.
sappy for the sake of sappy, like in Honey, I Love You. Scotty Goldsboro does all those songs. It's just supposed to make you sad. They're not profound. Oh, my wife is dead. My son's growing up, like emotional things. Anyway, I think we've said enough. Let's start locking in. Ryan Luis Rodriguez, I want to hear from you.
Not guilty, baby.
All right. Big Ben Haslar, I want to hear from you.
Not guilty, baby.
All right. Like I said, I got Maynard came with the goods. And even though I'm kind of with you guys, like Gentleman's or at least, and the movie hit me more powerfully. I enjoyed it the most watching it this time, even though I watched it critically because I really wanted to give Maynard a fair shake. And I knew he was going to point out more stuff than even I could notice because it was his job this week. And he brought the goods. So I'm giving him a not guilty. It's not a pity vote. If one of you were to swerve this movie, I'm giving it guilty, that is to say. If one of you to serve, it would be officially guilty. But I
do it, Ben.
Do it. Do that. Is that going to be the twist?
I
Ben?
locked in. I twist the key. I can't.
Okay, well then I'm pushing the red button. Let's go out there and tell that very handsome judge.
Mr. Foreman, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. Despite my badgering in the jury, we find The Sixth Sense not guilty of being a bad movie.
Oh no, look at all those badgers coming out of the courtroom. The verdict is so rendered. The Sixth Sense is free to go, and M. Night is free to pull a split and make a sneak sequel or a sneakquel covering the first 5 senses. Court is adjourned.
Well, at least we got to say sneakquel.
Makes it all worth it.
This is Mumbly Mumber, son of Earth 3, a completely different version of my deceased doppelganger from this dimension and my Earth 3 counterpart, reporting to you live from outside the Reels of Justice. Maynard Bangs, you absolute bastard. Would you care to share your thoughts on the jury's verdict?
Sure, Mumbly. So wait, you're a Mumbly from another plane of existence that didn't die, not
right.
a Mumbly that is dead that I can understand because I have the Sixth Sense.
That is correct. I didn't think about
Okay,
it
all
very
right,
much.
confused the hell out of me. But, not what I was expecting when the Mumbly I was going to meet today, but you just roll with
Another
it.
twist.
It's another twist. I of course I loved this movie growing up. It was my job to attack it. I had always kind of put it in the Unbreakable camp as like M. Night's sort of unimpeachable, great work. And having to watch it, I watched it like 3 times for this case. It did drag me down. Some of those, you think about it a lot, it'll hurt a lot. But Haley Joel's so good, he's kind of just undeniable. So I figured I was gonna lose on that alone. So, but good case, great. Ryan Lynn brought it. All right, bye, not dead Mumbly.
Thank you, he said as if he was paying attention. And here comes Ryan Verrill. Excuse me, you had the easy lift this week. Could we get a word on how you feel about today's verdict?
Could you repeat the question? Wait, I think I got it. Okay, so a couple things. One, quite pleased that the jury was able to come down on the correct side of history. That will be appreciated and noted in our books. The other thing, I cannot wait to be a part of the audience when I listen to this in the court records in a couple weeks so I can find out what mod and tune means. And finally, the last thing is just, while I'm glad that the side of history will be correct, I am sort of confounded that everybody seems to be arguing against this because of the idea of logic, when the reality is tons of movies don't make sense. This one doesn't have to make sense to make it a good movie. Unimpeachable.
Thank you very much. That's all I have from the courthouse today. I'm headed back to my Earth where I will attempt to commune with the spirit of Mumbly Mummerson version 1. So, let's go back to the studio for post-trial analysis.
Yeah, eat letter 3 Mumbly. Bang, bang, bang.
How many Mumblies can die?
I'm going to write a maudlin tune about it.
Ooh, a maudlin tune. I like. That's interesting. But no, great case, Ryan. I can tell you like this. I think my sense of it comes from a lot of movies that Shyamalan's done, like The Happening and Old. It's like they really got attacked because there's no logic there. They're all gorgeous, and okay, most of their performances are bad, but they all look good. I'm glad you didn't bring much about the visuals. I couldn't have touched anything about those either. That's something Shyamalan does well.
No, I mean, the reality is this movie is hard to defend in some aspects because, for one, Shyamalan cannot write dialogue in any of his movies. He does not know how humans speak, which is why I'm still shocked that Signs is probably my favorite movie he's made because he's most in tune with the aliens.
George Lucas syndrome.
Very possible. Signs might be my favorite too, although I acknowledge it's not the best, but it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
I kind of dig Old. It was ridiculous.
I liked Old too, but I have to rewatch it again because it ends in that weird conspiracy thing.
I did like it. Like it's like The Prisoner at the end. It's like, what?
Yeah, if it just ended like 20 minutes earlier, you'd been like, okay, cool.
Trap was fine. Knock at the Cabin. I know Ryan's a big fan of Knock at the Cabin.
Good movie.
Yeah, the other
Shyamalan, Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
Oh,
I disagree.
Not particularly Shyamalanian.
It's maybe the most Shyamalan movie.
It's because it's based on a book.
Yeah.
Right. So he didn't have to write the story, which is why I think
the most un-Shyamalan movie's got to be Avatar.
Right.
We got to do that on the show one day.
It's coming.
No. It has to exist.
We're gonna get Ryan back here to defend Avatar.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I like it.
Turns out I'm busy that day.
Anyway, so what normally keeps you busy that day? What have you been up to when you're not here?
Oh, so many things. Since the last time I came on, the biggest news probably should talk about is I launched my own film distribution company earlier this year called Antenna Releasing. We are bringing films to theaters, VOD, streaming, and eventually physical media. Our first film that is in theaters in 2026 is Stolen Kingdom. This is a documentary about urban explorers wreaking havoc on Disneyland and Disney World, and a $500,000 animatronic goes missing from Disney World, and there are people literally on camera admitting to crimes. But the funnest part about this documentary is it turns into like a true crime documentary. There's CCTV footage in police stations, people getting arrested. There's people serving warrants. There's people traversing to an island that is literally surrounded by Disney property and getting caught and pulled away in handcuffs. It is a raucous, great time. It is by far the funniest documentary I've ever seen. And it's going to do great in a theater. So go see it. It starts on May 21st. We'll be playing all over the U.S. Kind of crazy where we've been able to get it into, but you should be able to go to see this film without traveling more than about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours at most, and it will be absolutely worth your time to see with the crowd, I promise.
I cannot wait to see it.
Oh, that sounds sweet as hell, man. That sounds awesome.
It's a
Discovery
remarkable
Island
movie.
is one of those things that is just I can't believe that it actually exists.
Right?
And
It's such a different
now
world.
they've demolished it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so by quick way of background, how did this movie end up with your company? Now, is this something that was already made and you acquired, or like it was commissioned? Like give us the background on that, because that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it played at a couple film festivals in early 2025, and my partner who was working on the company with me behind the scenes, we were kind of waiting for the best, the best film to launch with. It has to be a strong title, otherwise everybody's gonna be like, oh, look at this limp dick just sitting here and not doing anything great. And so he saw this film, my partner did, at the festival in Slam Dance in 2025, and said, listen, these guys are going to have an incredible deal probably within 30 days. This is great. They're going to be very successful. By last September of 2025, they had still not signed with anybody. And come to find out, everybody is terrified of Disney. Nobody that's a distributor wanted to go against the mouse. And the reality is, there's nothing you can be sued for here. It's a documentary of things that's all verifiable public information.
And you've got nothing to lose anyway.
Exactly. And I'm still hoping we get a cease and desist. The marketing we can pull out of that is going to be incredible.
There goes your cameo in The Mandalorian.
Disney didn't want you to see.
Escape from Tomorrow and say, like, sue us. Go ahead. Do it.
Absolutely.
And then you could publish the whole letter in your magazine.
And make a documentary about that.
I am still doing the magazine. Mr. Ryan Luis Rodriguez has written for it a handful of times and has a really great piece coming up soon. It's called The Physical Media Advocate. You can pick it up on Amazon worldwide. It's in about 20 stores. And the best part, somehow since the last time I'm on here, it's for sale in 4 different countries in stores, which is crazy to me.
Nice. Hey, man, the French like physical media too.
We'll see. I don't speak that very tonguey language, but maybe someday.
Sacre bleu.
Bonjour.
No, that's excellent. Remind us the name of the movie so we can.
The name of the movie is Stolen Kingdom. Comes May 21st. We're actually going for a full nationwide roadshow with the director in person in 21 different cities. So if that's coming near you, go out and see it, because he is a great Q&A after.
Do you have like a website where people can find these dates and locations?
Of course. For the film itself, stolenkingdomfilm.com, and for all of our other films, which we are literally, I still don't understand why I'm saying this. We are booked theatrically until June of 2027. You can check out all of our things at antennareleasing.com.
Well, awesome. We will definitely check those out.
Follow on social media. I'm sure they're out there.
Yes, please. Antenna releasing everywhere unless the character count says I'm not allowed to, and then there it is, Antenna for Films.
Nice. All right, cool.
I
Now,
like
we
it.
always ask for recommendations from our guests for movies that you think people should see. Obviously, you got a freebie out of Stolen Kingdom no matter what, but is there another movie that you think
Recommend it again.
you can if you want?
I hate to do it because we just kind of mentioned it a minute ago, but I will heavily come out right now as a Trap defender and say if you have not given it a watch because it's so many
that's
duds
the
out of
movie you
M.
should
Night
have done
Shyamalan.
today. Come on.
I adore Trap. It is such a great movie. Josh Hartnett gives it an incredible performance. And I will concede now, most of the movie's not logical. That being said, it is a really great time. And I won't say a return to form because it's not, but it's still very, very fun.
I'll see you in court.
That is the movie you should have done today. That's what the people come here for.
That's why I didn't choose it. Yeah.
We'll be
Oh,
doing
man,
more.
next time. That is so on the list.
We're going to celebrate his whole catalog. You know, we're going to be out of Star Trek movies soon, so we're going to have to talk about
God.
something. Now, my recommendation today is a favorite among grandmothers everywhere. It's The Seventh Sense, an erotic drama. Grandma. Sorry, Schlenzer, I couldn't resist. I actually can't stick the landing. I couldn't find
This
it,
is a whole
and
family
I didn't
affair.
try.
Everyone's got to listen.
But instead, I decided to revisit a couple of ghost movies I watched regularly from this time period, and I'm surprised at the one I preferred. My recommendation today, 1999's The Haunting. A group of a group of strangers meet at an elaborate and isolated mansion to attend a sleep study, unaware that the mansion is haunted as fuck. All right, before you at me, I want to come out and say this movie probably comes down firmly on the bad side of the fence. I don't recommend you watching it after reading the book. I especially don't recommend watching it after Robert Wise's 1963 adaptation. The last time I did both those things, I really didn't enjoy the 1999 version. But this time, in a bubble with some distance from those other works, some of the atrocious story choices they made bothered me less. Now, for the acting. The cast is fine. Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, the Owen Wilson, wow. But they really put no feeling in it. And the star of the show, the normally very competent Lily Taylor, is completely out of her depth as a scream queen. Her ahs of terror are one of the reasons I'm actually recommending this. They're that bad. You should see them. Now, with all that out of the way, the good, Hill House. From the exterior shots at Harlaxton Manor to the interior sets designed by Eugenio Zanetti, this is one of the most incredible locations you could ever hope to be taken in a film. It's just a shame it's attached to such a lousy version of this story, told with god-awful performances. Still, I recommend you see it for Hill House and Hill House alone. And if there was ever a reason to watch a movie in 4K, and I don't think there is, but if there ever was, Hill House is it.
Man, is this the one where it turns out like the ghosts are like the kids who got murdered or something? Like at the end, they're in the
There
fireplace
are
or
ghosts
something?
that are kids, yes, and they kind of like live in the statues of the house and stuff.
Owen Wilson
but
gets
then
decapitated in a fireplace.
yeah,
Worth
remember-
alone the price of
Yeah.
entry, right?
And is this the one where like they're filming and like on
No.
the film is the doctors and that?
No,
puts it them?
that's maybe my next week's recommendation, the House
okay.
on Haunted Hill, which I double featured.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up saying I kind of prefer House on Haunted Hill because it's so crazy and fun and energetic, and it still is. It was still great.
Okay.
And
But
it has the
Haunting
Incredible
was
Hulk
just
coaster in it.
that is true, and most of that stuff is real wild. And the beginning has got like ghost ship energy of House on Haunted Hill. But I don't want to talk about that yet. Talk about it
Yeah,
next
'cause
time.
I remember
But-
those being scary movies from the late 90s. Those
but
scared me.
the Haunting is like it's a little bit it thinks it's a little bit smarter. It's not like especially not compared to the Wise one, which is like masterfully subtle. And
Gotcha.
this is like the complete opposite. This is like
I probably have all the movies jammed up into one movie in my head. I'll
You
have to
do.
disentangle them.
and you probably have What Lies Beneath down in there too, or Stir of
I
Echoes. Love Stir of Echoes.
Both good movies.
We already did that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I did. And that was the other thing. The house design that they did for this Haunting was inspired by The Innocents, which is another 1961 movie I recommended. So
Great movie.
that's another good one. All right. So Big Ben, what have you got?
I'm going to take the easy way out this week and regale you all with yet another tale of how I saw one of my favorite movies with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra supplying the powerful score, this time for Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Now, forewarning, I'm going to be a little curmudgeon-y here and tell you all that how the people were having fun. They were doing it the wrong way. Yes, you must have the correct kind of fun when you have a live score being played, because I'm pretty sure these people paid over $100 just to see a film they easily could have watched at home instead of listening to Howard Shore's melodic tunes, because as the first chair violinist was playing this solo, this haunting theme of Edoras, perfectly hinting that this once great kingdom has long since fallen into decline, the audience gives him nothing. Aragorn opens a door, though. All of a sudden, all the cheers. But perhaps most annoyingly, they cheered for one of my least favorite moments in the entire film. Now, I love The Two Towers. I think it's just as good an adaptation to the book to film as could be made, since most people thought it was kind of meant to be unfilmable. That said, the one thing I can't stand is how Peter Jackson had the elves come in to help them during the Battle of Helm's Deep. It's cheap, it adds nothing since all the elves just like disappear within a few minutes of the fighting, but it was done to have Aragorn and Arwen kind of share some moments on screen. She was originally going to lead them there, but they scrapped that idea, but somehow the elves remained. But that line of, "We are proud to fight alongside men once more," is just a lame, feel-good thing and adds nothing, and that's what the crowd cheered for. That said, grievances aired. Grievances aired. The experience is still fantastic. Howard Shore's score of the trilogy is one of the best. And while it's okay to laugh at Samwise's pronunciation of potatoes, I implore you to also take a moment to listen to the music and the conversation it has with the characters. It's a story about the darkest of times when all hope seems lost. But as Sam says, there's good in this world and it's worth fighting for.
Now, Ben, the first chair violinist is called the concertmaster, and you're not supposed to clap or cheer between movements. So
not between the movements, but when the thing's done.
Right.
When the thing's done.
Oh, when the whole score is done,
yes.
Then they
like the
and I think that's the thing. I think they don't know when the score ends. They're just watching the movie, you know.
Well,
and
when the movie's over, right?
Yeah, the score's
no. Like that movement, like then ends, like, you know, when they're just talking about, you know, whenever they're fighting or whatever.
See, I think for this one, you would have to treat the entire score as its own, like, big symphony. Like, it's a very long production. Like,
I know some people we can ask.
You know, we have a guy coming up that we'd be able to ask about this. He actually was a concert master.
I know.
So that's true, too. So
we know people who know how to conduct themselves.
And we certainly do.
Ryan, what have you got for us?
My recommendation this week
I knew it.
is a 2023 Brazilian documentary from director Kleber Mendoza Filho, a name I totally butchered.
Nailed it. No, that's right.
Pictures of ghosts, chronicling in an archaeological fashion the slow but permanent deaths of his hometown movie palaces and how it relates to social culture. An elegy that incorporates footage shot throughout his childhood from Super 8 to home video. It reminded me of the theaters that I frequented as a growing boy and how they were destroyed to put up luxury apartments and outdoor malls, filling me with such palpable melancholy that it felt like the film was directly connected to my soul, kind of a transcendental experience. Pictures of Ghosts is currently streaming exclusively on the Criterion Channel. Support your local library.
My childhood movie theater is still standing, just empty and abandoned and not used for like 20 years now, just sitting.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can attest to that. That's true too.
Everything I say is true. Restaurant. People hate that about me.
You're not wrong, actually. That is true.
Schlender, send us on home.
And that's not all we hate about you.
Now, man, I'm sure you were sweating. You were thinking, man, if I'm recommending The Haunting, I'm taking the Schlenzo spot. Surely I'm recommending the worst movie this week. Don't worry, best friend. I've got you covered. Because you see, if there's something I love, it's women in danger. Wait. I mean on video. Wait, no, I mean movies. I mean real movies. Oh, geez, I can't dig myself out of this hole, but can I swim out of it? Like our protagonist in the movie I'm recommending, Killer Whale from 2025, or was it early this year? I'll have to double check. It will be right on the poster. So what this is basically following the formula of what if we have attractive women not wearing a lot of clothes trapped somewhere?
You said
it
this
was
was
like
bad.
that movie. I was gonna say it was like the movie The Fall, right? You know, like you get them up there, they're stuck. Right now, they're stuck because a killer whale's trying to kill them. I don't quite remember how they got there. Some kind of shipwreck or something. I think they were trying to save the whale, and the whale's like, "I'd rather eat you." So I think it's supposed to be a parable about how we're not supposed to keep whales in captivity because it drives them crazy. You probably should watch the documentary Blackfish. It's actually really freaking good.
So
It covers all this.
If only you'd recommend good things.
If only, alas, here we are,
No,
Big
he
Ben.
needs to help me, Ben.
Yes, thank you. So, look, this is your boilerplate hacker survivor. They're stuck in the little alcove. The killer whale's coming around. The only problem is when you only have two characters, it's like you can't have a high body count. So it's like they dip a toe in the water and the whale show like, and they get out of the water again. And this is the movie. But I think it's on Hulu. It's kind of a fun watch. And if you like those kind of movies where people are trapped and you don't know how they're going to survive, well, there you go. This is one of them. Is it as good as The Fall? No. Is it as good as that weird hot air balloon movie Maynard recommended? Hell no. But if for some reason you're doing a really niche marathon, throw this one on.
Because it's as good as Crawl.
No.
No.
Definitive
Ben,
no.
how
It's-
dare you?
It's
Yeah.
moderately better
Crawl is
than that.
awesome.
Ben, you have to learn the difference between hackers and what's the opposite,
Yeah.
Ryan?
Crawl rules.
No, I do remember loving
No,
that
he
movie.
said
It's just the first one that came to
Crawl.
mind.
Yeah.
Ryan, he said crawl, not crawl. Crawl is
Oh,
great.
no, Crawl
Crawl
sucks.
sucks.
Crawl sucks. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Let's not
That's what I
say
meant.
things we can't take
What a
back.
twist! That one has Liam Neeson as well. It's all connected.
I know. What a whale
How
of a
about the glaive?
recommendation.
That's the only thing I like about Crawl.
Thank you, Maynard.
I did want to ask though, is it a real whale or CGI whale?
I think it's mostly CGI, but they have footage of a real whale for some of the shots.
Whales are tame enough. You could do some acting with a whale hanging.
Not
from a
if you
real
watch
whale.
Blackfish. It's a double-decker recommendation, so it makes sense.
Double recommendation? That's not allowed. All right, we're
That was
all
the
out of
twist.
time.
Oh, thank
That's
God.
the twist we ended with. But we want to thank our guest Ryan Verrill for joining us. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you. It's an honor to be in the court.
We're gonna go see Stolen Kingdom out the 21st.
I'm really excited. I'm not just saying that because you're a guest on the show. That sounds really cool.
Just
I'm
try
looking
and
forward to
stop
watching
us,
it.
Disney. Come on, try and stop them. You don't got the guts. Them, not me. You can stop me easily. I don't have the guts.
It's such a perfect combination of fan bases between urban exploring and true crime and Disney. I mean, everybody's going to love it. I promise.
Cut it or we don't release Daredevil Season 3. Your
That
movie.
Venn diagram is just a
Oh, but
circle.
hey,
Get yourself in the
What
circle.
if they want to buy you out? If they offer you a ton of money not to do
Ooh.
We're
In a
taking the
heart-
deal. You and me, Ryan.
it?
We'll take it and go to Discovery Island.
Hey, all right.
Nice.
At
We're
least
going to
he's
urban
honest. I
explore
like it.
there. Heck yeah. They'll never shut us down. Well, we hope that you can join us again unless the Disney shuts us down. But we hope everyone else will join us too as the reels of justice keep turning.
Oh, count it.
Oh, Earth 3. Oh.
Oh, no.
They're
Just
coming.
keep on
Coming.
digging.
Never financially recover
Keep
from this
on
episode.
digging.
Please follow us on Twitter at Reels of Justice, Instagram Reels of Justice, and Facebook.com/Reels of Justice.